Democracy is based upon the idea that more than half the people are right more than half the time. That's a quote from Mark Twain. And like a lot of humor, it really does actually hit you square between the eyes in terms of understanding how it all works. Why is it that we believe that the average person on the street is capable of understanding the difficult subjects that American presidents and governments grapple with, and why they're qualified to determine who the right person is for the job? That's really an interesting question. And historically, we have very little reason to believe that the average person on the street understands these subjects. And in fact, the election of Donald Trump kind of shows how people make decisions. People elected Donald Trump because of inflation. They elected Donald Trump because they were paying more money for a pizza than they thought was reasonable, that they couldn't fill their tank without spending a bunch of money. They're voting for Donald Trump because they see people from another country coming into their country who don't speak their language and coming in large numbers. That's an experience. No matter what you say as an American liberal, and I'm a liberal, you can't sit there and say people weren't paying more money for gas and food, and you can't sit there and say people aren't looking around and seeing people from other countries coming in large numbers, ending up all over the United States. Now, whose fault that is and why that is being caused is a different question. But the fundamental concept that you have to understand is that's the average person's experience. So the Democratic Party obviously made a huge error, and I don't care what kind of super scholarship is out there, or poll reading or tea leaf reading is out there. It seems obvious to me, and I'm just going on my intuition, that what happened and the reason why we lost that election is exactly this reason. Because we ignored the issues of immigration, we ignored the issues of inflation and affordability, and we got punished for it. And Donald Trump came and said, hey, I can fix this, and they believed him. And that's a good example of how somebody who is really, not educated on the topic wouldn't know the difference between Donald Trump and somebody else. They don't really know anything about Donald Trump. They're making decisions based upon their own personal experience with limited information. And that's kind of an open question there as to whether this is a good system.